Welcome to the Mother-Daughter ISH podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey, mothers and daughters, I am back today with an amazing individual. Again, I know you hear me say that every time, but I am excited to introduce you to Miss Diane, and she's going to tell you where she moved from and where she is now. We're going to dig all the way into all of the exciting things that she's going to share. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you so much. Lovely to be here.
I appreciate you being here, and I just love that you've taken out the time to be able to share with other women about your move and how that has affected you in a great way, and just talk about it. So you came from where and you are now where?
Okay, so I came from Maryland and I moved to Thailand and now currently in Vietnam.
Vietnam. How did you make the move from, okay, I am leaving the United States and I'm going to go to an entirely different country?
Yeah. Okay, do you want the short version or the medium or long version?
I want whatever version is going to get the message across. I am not on any kind of time constraints. We can just go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, I moved to Thailand in 2018.
Okay.
And the reality is I did not know much about Asia in general. I'm not someone that kept up with if it's not the history of Asia or just keeping up with events or even knowing what cultures are like. I knew basically nothing. I took a teaching job.
Okay.
In Suratthani, which is a province in southern Thailand, and it's this small province leads to the islands, like Phuket, some other islands I cannot remember right now. But yeah, so I took the job originally under the guise that I would just go back sooner than later because I was like, this is the experience. I just need to be free. But I ended up loving it. I told my family I'd be back in 6 months, and I've been in Asia almost 7 years now. So that's life.
Wow. That is very exciting. So you took a teaching job. Was it kind of one of those things where you just wanted to teach, or is it one of those things where you wanted to teach and you wanted to do it in a different location for the experience altogether?
That's a good question. A good friend recommended to try teaching because for her, not only was it rewarding, it was just something at that point, we were all in our early mid 20s. So we're just okay, how do we explore? How do we travel? How do we have fun? And to get creative with different ways to do it. So I started looking at countries, and then I picked Thailand because the beaches were beautiful.
Yes.
Just wow.
Yes.
So picturesque, doesn't even look real. And it looks like that in real life too. It wasn't just the pictures. So so that was kind of why I took the teaching job. And it was a very rewarding 4 years of me being a teacher in a physical school.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. So, when you leave from one country to another, that means you're leaving behind your family, your friends, and everyone. What have you done to build community while you are in Thailand?
So my first year, I think at that point in my 20s, maybe it was an identity shift, kind of growing into more of yourself as an adult. Building community in a completely different country was nothing I've ever done before, obviously, because I never traveled to a country by myself until that trip. So my first year I will be honest, I struggled. I worked with people. It was not easy. I think there were some things in my mind I wasn't really sure of what I was doing. And I was also just paying attention to the fact that I have this job. I need to do this job well, because if I don't do this job well, I'm in a foreign country. I don't know what that means.
Right.
And on top of that, there is, and this is not something that always happens, but you have to keep it in mind when you're working with people in a country, and the country is homogenous, as in most of the people in the country are their own people.
Uh-huh.
People look different. You are just treated differently. It
You
was
are
not always a bad thing, but it's that kind of adjustment because being in the US where I was, it's just like a variety of people, it's just like it just sprinkled everywhere, different
everywhere.
flavors, ethnicities, races, but it
Right.
was not like that
Yeah.
there in that smaller city. So it was a lot of adjusting. My first year was rough. Then the
Hmm.
second year I moved to Chiang Mai and I was like, I want to meet people and have fun. And then
Yeah.
that's when I started to do exactly that.
Yeah, okay. So how did you do it? How would you say I'm gonna go on a meetup or I'm gonna join this club or I'm gonna figure out where the other expats are? What was your game plan?
It was my coworkers. My coworkers, my first year, they were amazing. We had so much fun. We were just like a little close-knit family. Would
Mm-hmm.
argue sometimes, and just but we really like looked out for each other. And that was the year COVID hit. That
Uh-huh.
was the year COVID hit. So it was like 2019. I came to this school, and then 2020 in March, it was like it happened all within a week or 2 weeks of each other. The
Mm-hmm.
school year ended, and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, then it was like I think I met a couple of people I hung out with in the beginning of COVID, but the
Mm-hmm.
community building came a little after when things were actually open more regularly. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started going to meetups,
Got
women meetups, um, board games, even things like related to singing. Like I realized I should do things that I'm interested in, and
That's
then
right.
also network for entrepreneurs came a little later.
Okay, wonderful. Now, when you went to Thailand, did you go as a married woman, a single woman? What was that status?
Single,
So let's
single,
talk
but
about the
single.
dating scene because let me tell you, what women say to me is, if I move to another country, I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to find a husband. I'm not going to have people to date. And then their other concern is typically work, which we'll save to the end. What was it like going to Thailand single?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know. Were you hoping to find someone or were you just like, I'm not focused on that right now? What was it for you specifically?
Honestly, in the beginning, like my first year, I was like, I just want to be free. I was like, I came here to work. I knew at that point in time, it was just like foundation building. It was like my character, figuring my life out. It felt far removed. That doesn't mean I didn't date though, but I didn't take anyone that seriously, to be honest. It
Oh,
was like had a few like dating app dates, and that was it for like the most of that year. Then I
okay.
moved to Chiang Mai and there's way more people there. I will say the dating scene is full of travelers. So that's just something to remember. You
Okay.
see someone, you may not see them again ever, or they might be in one of their cycles where they come back every few months, every
Right.
few weeks, every few years. Like it's
Right.
not so steady. So you
Mm.
have to know that in these countries, when you're traveling and you're dating, you're meeting a lot of people who are here for a good time, not a long time.
Exactly. There you go. And that's what I was hoping to get out of you is that people need to understand that sometimes you see someone who's just passing through. You may be there
Yeah.
staying for 5 or 6, 10 years, but they're just
Yeah.
passing through there. So that is something
Yeah.
to definitely consider. Now, your family is still in Maryland? Is all of your family in Maryland?
So my family is Nigerian. So some of them are in Maryland, some of
Okay.
them are in, I believe, Atlanta, and then the rest of them are in Nigeria.
Do any of them get an opportunity to come over and visit you in Vietnam?
Honestly, my family, they are it is Africa or it is America.
Got it. No in between.
No. And this would be a long trip. I mean, it took me 27 hours to come here. I don't think it took that long to go to Nigeria, from what I remember. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you will have to go and visit them then. How often do you get a chance to go back and visit family?
I have not been back yet, honestly.
Okay. So right now while you're there, you're kind of just you have your friends and your connections and you have your work and things like that, which you're creating your own family and community where you are. That's very, very
Yes, because you have to do that where you are. Like there is like online communities, but there's something about in person that's a lot different. So wherever
it
you are, you
is
just have
different.
to
Yeah.
really start thinking.
Very true. What is the housing situation over there? I hear all the time because I'm in a couple of different nomad groups and things because I love talking to people that are moving around and around the globe. And in the nomad groups, they always talk about how affordable it is to live there. Is it, and I'm not really trying to compare it to the US. I'm just trying to compare it to affordable to just a single individual, especially a woman. What is typical housing there, whether it's an apartment or it's a house?
I will say in Thailand and Vietnam, the prices are about the same. You want like an average apartment. This is like an average apartment here in Vietnam. It's a little bit smaller. I will say like structurally Vietnam apartments and Thailand apartments, like the Vietnam ones are a little bit smaller. Still
Hmm.
around the same price, something like 300 to $350 is like the range for a normal place per month.
And we're
And some
talking
places,
about how many square feet? Like 5 to 700 square feet?
ooh, in square feet. Oh, I don't know square feet.
Okay.
In meters, that's how they measure it here. In meters, that's what I've gotten used to.
They
I'm
didn't
not
do
really
a good
sure.
job in the US of teaching us meters. So, okay, never mind on that question. We'll nix that. Because when I go to different countries and it's too cold in the room or something, and I see it in Celsius, I go, never mind. Let me get on Google and find out if I need it to be 76 degrees, what do I put it on for Celsius? So I was just curious, and $300, I feel like compared, if I'm going to compare it to something that's still affordable, those are 1960s prices, if you're in the US. So $300 a month is very, very portable. Even though I know that when you are in these other countries, the pay may be different, but still the living, that's very affordable, especially if you've already built some of your wealth in the US and you're, spending off of that. That's very affordable. And someone in the US could go and pay that apartment up for like a year and be like, okay, I'm free of rent. I just have to take care of
Yeah.
the other things. So that's really awesome. And what about if you wanted like a 2 or 3 bedroom home?
Mm, I'm not sure about Vietnam, to be honest, because I have not been here long enough and I've only been here. But in Thailand, if you want a home, there were homes that were going for even a two-bedroom, like maybe like 450-ish, and even like cheaper still. And it's a whole house. It's a
Yeah.
whole house. It is renting, but it's
See.
a whole house, the rent per month.
Wow. Let's talk about food. Has there been a lot of adjusting to food since you've been there? Because, you know, I thought to myself, if I go to another country and I'm going to be there for 6 months or whatever, I got to bring all my snacks with me. There's just some things that you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I'd really like to have some popcorn, or I think I want a Dorito or something. How have you adjusted to the food? And are there any favorites that you have that since you
Mm. I have to start with about almost a month ago. My best childhood friends came to visit me here in Hanoi because it was the Lunar New Year here.
I love
And
Hanoi. I love Hanoi. I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. You're gonna
okay.
find this very fascinating. I could
Ooh,
not
I wonder if it's
I
closed.
I could not leave the country without bringing this back to Texas. You're gonna find this to be crazy.
Ooh, I'm excited to see what it is. It also could be something I haven't seen yet. I have not seen everything here. Also, you have very pretty flowers. That's a very nice background.
There was this sweet lady at this church that I went to when I was in Hanoi, and she was hand making these on the street. Do not laugh at me. And I saw her and I said, I'm gonna sit here and wait until you make this hat for me. So she made it for me and she put the name on it and she made me a little ribbon. And I told her, I said,
Oh.
I have to take this back to Texas because in Texas and Houston specifically, we have these huge, huge festivals, and a
Mm.
lot of the different cultures come out. And they want you to dress in certain things so that you represent the different cultures. Because I love to go to food festivals and all kinds of things like that. And so when I went this year and I wore this hat, everybody was like, where'd you get that from? I said, literally in Hanoi. They were like, oh, you've been? And I said, yeah, they were so excited. But But yeah, she made
Yeah.
that for me, and I
That's
was so
beautiful.
excited. Yeah, and she put the name and everything on there, and this is what I love about it.
Oh my
This is what
goodness.
I love about it.
The
Yeah,
talent.
the pure talent. I waited and waited while everybody else was doing their thing. I said, I've already been in the church. I've seen everything. I'm gonna stay here with her. And then she asked me when it was time to pay, because I didn't even ask the lady how much it was because I figured, well, it's gonna be affordable. And when it was time to pay, I gave her triple what she did, and she started crying. I was like, oh gosh, oh gosh.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
But it was amazing. So I did enjoy my time in Hanoi. I mean, just driving, we had a driver drive us all around the streets. That's where we met the gentleman that was at the international school that was from Ghana. And one of the ladies that was with me, she's from Ghana as well, but she lives in Alabama now. And they really hit it off. He said, "You look like my auntie, and I haven't seen my family in 3 years." So it was really awesome. I mean, we were in one of the old antique cars with the no
Yeah.
windows and everything. And he was on a motorbike and he chased us down on the street. And he kept telling the man, "Stop, stop, stop." And the driver said, "Should we stop?" And I said, "Yes, we should stop. He seems friendly." He was like, "I just wanted to say hi. I saw y'all's beautiful faces and you look like my auntie in Ghana." And she said, "Well, I am from Ghana." And then they hit it off and started talking about what part of Ghana they were from. And it was just amazing. So I wanted to share that with you since you said I wasn't sure which part you were in, but this is my souvenir that I brought back from Hanoi.
Oh my
So
goodness.
what a
You make me want to
coincidence.
get one.
Say
It's
that
so
again.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to.
yeah. And I had no idea you were going to say that you were in Hanoi. I just knew that you were in the vicinity or somewhere in Thailand, but I had no idea. But the fact that you said that, I'm like, I've got to show her. And I've got this in my office up on a monument because I'm just like, it's so beautiful to me. And I appreciated her doing it. And just out of
Yeah.
respect and for appreciation, I display it for everyone who comes through my office. So I appreciate it. But yeah,
Yes.
so let's talk about the food because when I was there, I think every place that we stopped, I tried something. I had already pre-looked up, what I should try. And so I kind of got into trying some things just to kind of expand my palate. But what have you found that you are really enjoying since you're there?
I will be honest, I love food and to eat, but I'm picky. So
Okay.
I did not necessarily have the eye for foodie stuff. And it also might be because at this point I've been here a while, so I have what I'm used to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still mainly used to like, and this is like in my family, I think there's not so much, I don't know sometimes if there's so much difference actually between certain places because in Nigeria there is rice, there's meat, there's stews.
Yeah, see,
Here in Vietnam, I don't know if I've seen stews per se, but there's
probably.
noodles,
Yeah.
rice is a huge thing as
Seafood.
well.
Seafood.
Seafood. I'm
Yeah.
not a seafood person because like it takes me a while to eat it. I'm a little lazy when it comes to eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, the food though is good. I have a few staple things. I have mainly the noodle dishes like pho, bun
Uh-huh.
cha, like those are
Uh-huh.
two of my favorite ones. I love rolls, rolls with meat, rolls just vegetable rolls. I've loved rolls since I've gotten here and even before here. Like
Right.
noodles, rolls are me,
Right.
my
Do you get a
favorite.
chance? Do you have the ingredients that you need to be able to cook some of your Nigerian food there? Because I know it's all about the spices and the seasoning and all of that. Have you found some places where you can get all of those spices and seasonings and things to be able to make what you like from Nigeria?
So I discovered an African mart here about 2-ish months ago. And then
Okay.
when my best friend came, we went to an African restaurant, which I didn't know was here because
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, there's no way it's here. It is here. There's a West African restaurant here in Hanoi. It was amazing. Oh my goodness. And that was my first time having African food in almost 7 years.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you found it because here's one thing I've learned. No matter where you go in the world, there's going to be some culture that you can connect to because that's what I
Yeah.
look when I go places. I look for a few things. I look for where are the hometown people that are making the homemade soap. I make my own soap. So when I go to other countries, I buy soap from there that's natural, homemade with those particular ingredients and things like that. And then I look for specific different types of food because I'm picky about food as well. I will try some things now. If it's raw food and I don't think I don't want to get sick, I'm like, I'm not going to try that. But I do like to
Yeah.
try to find those things. So I'm glad that you found something that could connect you even more to
Oh,
their
thank
culture, but
you.
also your culture as well. So that's pretty awesome. Let's talk about work.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you said that you moved there to teach. Are you still teaching, or have you found your way to do your own thing online as you're there since you've now made it a little bit more permanent?
So now what I do, so I help build Facebook communities and I'm an astrologer and just a spiritualist all around. But when I was in the school, I did that for 4 years and then I taught online for now almost 3 years, but it's like I have a couple of classes. I don't do it as much as I used to. I think it's one of those things where when you start going in a different direction in life, it's
Hmm.
like parts of your life just kind of start drifting off, just like it can be very abrupt or just kind of like this. And it's
Hmm.
been kind of like this for teaching.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, well, that's very exciting. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers today? Any way that they could connect with you to learn more about your Facebook online communities that you're helping build? And that's one thing that I have noticed with every lady that I've spoken with in the last month is that everybody is building some type of community. I've had people that say they have some expat communities that they're building online. I talked to a lady who went from Tennessee to Morocco, and she built a community of now over 20,000 people on different
Yeah.
Facebook platforms for expats and for those that are kind of just coming through and things like that. So, where can people find you
Yeah.
online so they can connect with you? They may be wanting to build their own Facebook platform and don't really know how to do it.
Yes. So on my Facebook, my name on Facebook is just Diane Nnaemeka. My last name is Nnaemeka. And my
Okay.
Facebook group is Women in Business and Abundance. And the abundance is really the key part for me because whatever we're doing in business, the objective is to multiply it, to keep bringing in great opportunities. So I
That's
picked
right.
that name for a specific reason.
I think
Um,
it does.
and then I have my website, https dot and then slash slash DNNAEMEKA dot start dot page. And this is where my astrology services are. And also
Okay.
I have my Instagram on there and my TikTok and the prices for my astrology services because I love it.
Yep.
It's not for everyone, it's for me. So
Make sure you send me all of those links so I can put them in the description bar so that people can connect with you. And I would like to also get into your abundance group. That would be pretty awesome. So send me all of those links on Messenger, okay?
okay, I will. Thank
All
you
right,
so
Miss.
much.
All right, Miss Diane, I really appreciate you taking the time to allow me to interview you and to learn a little bit about you. And I appreciate, is there and one last thing that you would like to leave with those women who are wanting to move to other countries?
Yeah, you just have to go for it. Sometimes there's a path you can see other people might be there to support you. It depends on your story. Sometimes they're not. Just
Yeah.
make sure you're as secured as you can. When I came with less than $1,000. I do not recommend.
Do not,
Don't recommend.
would you
Don't
recommend
do it.
an amount that you wish you had had when you went there?
Probably like 3,000 would have been
Oh,
okay to
it's
start.
not bad.
It's
Okay.
not bad. That can hold you over a few months, but I was good for 1 month and I was like, if this paycheck doesn't come on time, I'm gonna have to start borrowing or something.
I love that. I saw on one of the expat groups that I'm in, what is it called? Blacks in Thailand. And I just learned so much from them about just everything, the cost of things and food and travel, just all the things that are there. And I'm just excited. I just like learning about people and looking at, like you said, go for it. I like that go for it mentality. But at least you're saying, let me give you this tip. If you only got $1,000, wait till you have at least 3,000 or 3,500 before you do it. And then if that paycheck
Yeah.
kicks in, now you have money on top of what you already had. So you're continuing
Yeah,
to save. So that's very smart and a great tip.
you will thank yourself.
All right, Miss Diane, thank you so much for being my guest today. And I cannot wait to get all those links from you so that I can share them with the world.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
All right, and you have a good night there, and I'll have a great day here.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.